Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the Western Dairy Management Conference. We are thrilled to be here and share the passion of advancing dairy management practices and driving profitability. Today marks an exciting milestone in the long history of Afimilk, as we unveil our latest innovation after several years of R&D and dedication by this amazing team led by Veronica. This functionality is designed to revolutionize how we approach herd management. As impactful as it sounds, this new technology empowers you to make smarter, data-driven decisions that directly impact your bottom line. Afimilk has always been at the forefront of innovation, driven by a simple yet powerful belief: data is the key to excellence. For over 4 decades, we have been committed to harnessing the power of data to optimize every aspect of dairy farming, from animal health to reproduction to milk production. Today, we are taking that commitment to the next level with a solution that focuses on feed efficiency, because we understand that improving feed conversion isn't just about better herd performance, it's about better business. Shift to feed efficiency-based herd management is not just a buzzword or a fancy concept, it's a strategic shift towards smarter, more sustainable farming. By utilizing cutting-edge data and technology, we can enhance feed utilization, reduce waste, and improve overall herd performance. This is the future of dairy management, driving profitability through precision and efficiency. Now you know, big times ahead. With Afimilk's new feed efficiency functionality, you have the tools to unlock new levels of productivity and profitability in your operations. Let's dive in and learn from the experts and push the boundaries of what's possible together. Thank you, and I look forward to a great conference ahead.
Thank you, Gonzalo. So let's dive in. So why do we even care about feed efficiency? Why do we want to improve, and what does it mean for us? So you can see here a simulation from Progressive Dairy about 2 farms with different feed efficiency numbers. You can see that those 2 farms have the same numbers of animals in the farm, and they have the same average production of milk. Can you hear me? But the least feed efficient herd A, need for every cow to eat more, and the feed cost per cow is higher because this farm is less efficient than farm B. So talking numbers, you can see that improving the 2/10 between the 2 farms gives a net profit for farm B of 1.4 million, which is a lot, and $40 per cow per month. So even if you improve a little bit, it's still a lot of money that is left for the farmer. So we know that you can, on your farm, measure feed efficiency per herd, and you can always measure it per group. You know how much you deliver, you know how many animals you have per group, and you can calculate it, right? But it is limited. And today we offer, in Afimilk, the ability to calculate dry matter intake per every animal. And when you have the milk, we have the milk meter, so we can measure the feed efficiency, which is the conversion of the feed to milk, actually what the cow is doing. And by this data, you can always look at different lactation, different cohorts of animals, and you can know much more. So what do we mean when we talk about shifting management based on feed efficiency? You can see here 1 dimension. That's what you know. All animals are either high-producing or low-producing cows. And many of the decisions on the farms are taken based on what we know, the milk production. But when we add another dimension of dry matter intake, now every cow is more. We know now, not only the milk, we know the dry matter intake, and now we know for every animal her income over feed, her profitability. And so it's not black and white, obviously. It's red and blue. You can see the red are the least profitable animals. Their income over feed is lower. And the blue is higher income over feed. And now when we look, like the ones that are on the top, obviously they're the best, and one on the bottoms, obviously they're the worst. But in the middle, we have most of the animals, and now for the same animals that are about here, 90, 100 pounds of milk, you have very profitable and you have low profitability animals. And now you can take different decisions upon the data that is new. So how did we get here? So I can talk about it just about this slide for 1 hour, but I won't do that. Our research team worked 3 years to get to this point, to have this capability. We worked across, so they worked across 3 farms in the States, in Canada and Italy, to gather 35,000 data points, which are cow dates. In this slide, you can see on the x-axis the actual feed that was measured in those troughs in the research facilities. And in the y-axis, you can see the algorithm that was invented in Afimilk from the AfiCollar that gives the dry matter intake for cow. And you can see that the correlation is very high, and also the accuracy. I just can say here in one sentence that we know that many companies tried to find the dry matter intake capability, and they weren't successful. Just like a hint of why is that it's not the eating time, and it's not the rumination time. Because I can eat a burger with my friends, and I can eat it for an hour and eat half of it, and my friend can eat, you know, the whole thing after 5 minutes, and doesn't say anything about the feed consumption. Okay. Obviously, we couldn't have done it without our partnering research facilities, so we worked in the Michigan State University for the algorithm, and we have today publications in the work with UPenn and Cornell, and we're going to present in the ADSA conference in June our research. And of course, we thank those universities to be trusting us and working with us. So like I said, we are the first to have this capability, and under this capability in our AfiCollar that obviously also gives you heat detection, rumination, eating, and panting for heat stress. We also have the dry matter intake, the feed efficiency per cow, and the income over feed. And it's wrapped out with support that is given with our farm specialists that support our farmers in implementing this new data on their farms. So after we had this very accurate information, we said, how are the farmers going to use it? We had an idea, but we weren't sure. And so we started a pilot that now ran for over a year with about 50 farms, 20 in the US and across the globe, in Europe, Latin America, and so. And we found several applications. One of the applications is culling the do-not-breed animals, or the animals that you already decided to cull, by profitability. So you can see here that very similar production animals can be different in their dollars per day. And when you cull by milk production, you know only the milk production, but when you know the income over feed, the profitability, you can see animals that are different in $5, $3, $2, and we suggest the farmers to take the income over feed for the animals that you already want to cull, and cull the least profitable, and leave more money on the table at the end of the day. Another application that farmers are using is breeding by priority of cow profit. We know that this feed efficiency trait is heritable, and when you want to improve your feed efficiency on the farm, you have to breed your best animals. You cannot, have your replacement heifers from your least feed efficient cows. So when you look at this P1, a cow with feed efficiency 2.6, which is high, with income over feed of $14, and again, those animals are with the same milk production. So when you have this new knowledge, you see that this animal, you definitely want a replacement heifer out of it. You want your farm to be more efficient in the future. And this animal with very low feed efficiency and low income over feed of $7 per day, you'll probably want to beef her, or maybe do not breed her if you have too many replacements on your farm. These graphs show one of the farms that we have been working with. This is energy-corrected milk, dry matter intake, and income over feed per lactation. In the gray, you see the average, what you probably, if you're interested in feed efficiency, you can today kind of measure. And here you see a very high and very low animal. So that's what you had, and now you can see that with looking at income over feed, the animals are very far from being average, and your decision-making might and should and change. So just to sum up, we know that we are at the tip of the iceberg. I know that some of the applications that we show are exciting but basic, and the farmers that we work with bring to us new applications every day. We know it's going to change how farmers are going to manage their farms, just like the milk meters changed how we are managing farms today. And we are very excited to see where it's going to take us. So I'm very proud to introduce our partners, or some of our partners from ADK Farm. We have here together with us Shane and Emily. Shane is the farm manager, and Emily is the owner, and Emily is the farm manager. They have 4,000 animals through 3 different locations, and they have our Afimilk equipment, our AfiCollars, milk meters, our AfiLabs, and they will share their experience, and you can hear from them.
So my name is Shane St. Cyr with Adirondack Farms. We are located in Clinton County, New York. If anybody doesn't know where that is, it's right where New York, Canada, and Vermont meet, way in the upper right-hand corner. So New York has some sustainability initiatives that the government has put down to be carbon neutral by 2050. And we take that very seriously at the dairy. And we work towards sustainability on many fronts. We milk at a couple different locations. We have a methane digester currently operating at one location, making renewable natural gas that's currently being injected into the pipeline. We have a second digester under construction that will be operational in November of this year. We also do a lot of underground transfer and dragline with our manure. We've estimated that's taken over 200 million pounds of sand out of use every year by putting that underground, and by using the manure and pressing the manure for our bedding. We no longer use sand. And that also eliminates the amount of trucks that we have go over the road. So when Afi came to us and said, do you want to be a beta tester for this? This aligned very well with our goals. We're doing sustainability on the manure and on our crops, and this was something we could use to really dial in with the cows and really work our herd towards a more sustainable herd with this feed efficiency and being able to make decisions on an individual cow level. So that's me as the owner. That was my mindset on why we chose this and why we wanted to partner with them. Emily manages one of our herds, and she can talk about how she uses it on a day-to-day basis for herd management.
So hi, I'm Emily Starceski, one of the managers at Adirondack North. So we started in March in our new facility that has AfiLab, and that's when we decided to roll out the collars across all of the sites. And then we are asked to be a part of the feed efficiency program as well. One of the main ways that I use it is for DMBs, so deciding when those animals need to leave. We normally send a load to Pennsylvania of our JBS animals and DMB animals, so it eliminated a role or a task that I needed to complete of trying to decide what animals need to leave, walking the pens, either having their milk weights or guesstimating what production they have, and also looking at their body condition and deciding if they're making more milk or making more fat. And then something that we plan to do in the future is also utilize it for breeding. So we just recently transitioned to all beef or sexed on our farm. And then something that we're planning to do next once we have a full facility is also utilize it in our multi-pairs animals to decide what animals need to be given an extra service of sex semen or what animals definitely need to be bred to beef.
Okay, so I guess if you have any questions for me or for our producers thank you for being here. I've been asked if we need the labs to have the energy corrected milk, right? Okay, so not all farms that work with us have labs. It is helpful because it's an everyday, very accurate protein and fat, like you know. But the farms that don't have the labs, we work with a milk test, monthly milk test. It's less accurate, but it's good enough, you know. We use what we got. Yeah, you know, that's basically it.
So we use FeedLink, right, as our feeding software, and once a week we enter in the dry matter intakes from off our feeding software into the Afi software, so it can, I assume, calibrate the calculations. Is that?
Our goal, or like our next step, is to have integrations with the feed softwares, but we still don't have it, so we still need, I don't know how much it takes, like couple of minutes for the farmer to enter this, but again, we are at a launch today, so it's the first version, but we will work with any feed company here, FeedLink, or any, like FeedWatch, any company that is here. We're very keen on doing this integration and to have this data automatically come into our software, because we want to save this couple of minutes for our farmers. So you're welcome to approach us as well.
The question is, what would we put to the bottom line? So, you know, I don't know that we've looked at that specifically. I think we've targeted, like Emily said, which cows leave. So, you know, where before we would have just been looking at milk production on which DNBs leave, now we're looking at basically we've got a balance sheet for every single cow, right? A P&L statement, and we know their income and their expense, and we can make those culling decisions. It just gives us the other half of the equation. You know, you have the income half of the equation on most dairies. How much milk is she making? What's her fat? What's her protein? But without that expense equation, you're really kind of flying blind. So it's going to allow us to dial that in, and that's certainly something we could look into and look at which cows we would have sold and compare them to the cows that we did sell, and then be able to put a dollar to that.
So the question was if we're breeding cows with our activity system that's also in the collars, and the answer is yes. So we still do off-sync on our dairy, but we're catching a lot of really good heats off of our cows with the collars, and I haven't checked it, and I definitely should, but I think it improved our heat detection rate significantly. And another important thing for us is we're walking heats, painting tail heads, and now that eliminated that mundane type of task where now our collars are doing that work for us, and they're doing it consistently every day.
So we have been asked about when in the lactation we start getting accurate dry matter intakes and income over feed, right? So we started at first from day 10. We thought it's accurate enough, but we saw there are many fluctuations at this because the negative energy balance is still crazy at this time. So in our software, we are calculating from 21 days, and we see it's good enough. And at the time when you want to breed the animals, like at 60, 70, 80 days in milk, you have enough accurate data to look at it, which is good. And the do not breed animals are not on the first or second week of lactation, so it's good enough. But yeah, I mean, we compare the data that we have. We always recommend to look at first lactation compared to first lactation, second to second, because they're a little bit different animals. So there is work on that, and we show it in the software. When we show the data or help make decisions, we do consider lactations as well.
So we feed a 1 TMR, so it's easy to plug in, but we can plug the expenses of the different TMRs into the software.
It was out of the scope of the presentation, but I have a slide where you can actually measure the mitigation of methane out of the feed efficiency that you save or improve, I guess. There is an ICAR approved equation, and we plan to put it inside the software to show to the farmer how much he improves. The data, it's not ours, it's already out there, but we measure the feed efficiency improvement, and it's actually to the point to have it inside. And like partnering with AfiCollar farms, it's just exactly to this, it just matches our goals. And I think, yeah, it's definitely there. We'll partner with them when we have it inside and work on that. So the data output that we give is weekly. I mean, it's not like milk production that you need to calculate every single session. We give the information once a week because that's what you need for the decisions of culling and breeding and so on. And the feed delivery that the farmers are entering is once a week to calibrate the data that we have inside, that we offer. I didn't discuss that in the presentation about research, but we have machine learning behind that. So we take information about those animals from the software, like their lactation, days in milk, whatever parameters we know about them from the software. And it always also takes into account in our algorithms. So it's not just this feed delivery per group, it's a lot of data that is being considered. So about breeds, Jerseys, Holsteins, and so on. So today it's calibrated per Holsteins, and that's what we could find in research facilities. We don't have a research facility with Jerseys, but when we have a farm with only Jerseys on it, we have some adjustments for it. It's not currently in the launch, but it will be, and we can work with Jerseys. And yeah, I mean, just the way we have the research today and what we achieved so far, it's just the beginning. I mean, we're working, like I said, about methane mitigation and different breeds and different breeding strategies and indexes and so on. So I guess part of the beauty of it is to work with our farmers and the things that they come up with, and they approach us that they want this and that, and that's where we kind of set our roadmap to and what we take to the next level.